Today, we welcome Ginger Marvin, Kathy, and Chris to the Seller Community Podcast. Happy to have you. Happy to see you again. We were in Colorado a few weeks ago, saw you there.
Yep.
Nice to be able to chat with you today. So let's hop in and tell us how the name Ginger Marvin came along and how you started up your brand.
So Ginger Marvin was just like a nickname of mine in general. Obviously, my real name's Kathy or Catherine, but Ginger because of the red hair. So it was just my Instagram handle, just from my personal life at the
Okay.
time. And then I heard about reseller community on Instagram. So I just started like posting posts from my main account, just and putting hashtags for reseller related things.
There's no intention of ever,
Yeah.
just being a part of the community.
Yeah,
really.
just normal stuff. And then, when I don't know if it was what I was posting, which was just package pics, or just the hashtags took off. I don't know. A lot of people started following me, and then, it turned into several thousand people. And then a couple of years after that, we started YouTube. So we wanted to keep the name consistent everywhere. So that's just, we just kept it that.
It just worked.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so impressive. You both have come a long way as a team. And I think our listeners, I know as parents, grandparents, it's interesting because I was stalking you a bit earlier. And so I was looking at your Instagram and your Christmas picture was just so cute, and your sons, and it was just so cute. And all that you guys do, I think that there's so many people that would be interested to hear, how do you manage your family, your business? And we'd love to have some tips if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, you know what? It's not easy yet sometimes, right? Like there's a lot that goes on, and it's fun. We try to involve the kids as much as we can, but we really do. We do get a lot of our work done when they're at school, or when sometimes grandma will watch them.
Taekwondo, things like that.
yeah,
So we
they-
try to work when they're not really around, just so that they don't feel like we're just working.
Yeah.
So
Which can be hard because
yeah.
sometimes work has to take
Yeah.
forefront of it, and we try to make up for that when that kind of stuff happens. But they understand, and sometimes they want to get really involved, and they'll help bag some inventory, or it's not always very helpful, but as long as they feel like they're helping. And we've implemented in the past where we'd pay them like 10 cents to bag a pair of shoes or something like that.
Cheapskate.
Nice.
Try to
10
make
cents.
it
It sounds like
it's a learning experience. It's really about the learning about it, and trying to be responsible and all that. But there's times it's not easy, and I'm not going to lie about that. There's hard days, as with any other kind of business. You have hard days at work.
Sure.
When you work for yourself, you have hard days too. And I think it's just more about just keeping going and doing the best you can, and
Yeah.
accepting that's good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny because I know when I was first starting, and as a single mom with 3 kids, and it's like the beauty of it all at the end of the day is that you can drop everything and tend to your family. And do you feel the same about being in control of your family and your business and priorities?
Yeah, I think ultimately that is like the biggest benefit for us working for ourselves is being able to, okay, it's a snow day. We don't have to worry about it. We can get them home. We can take care of it. We might have to get a little work done here and there, but it really has blessed us in that way of being able, like, we started doing a lot of this stuff during the lockdowns and stuff. And so our kids were doing e-learning, and that kind of really taught us how to manage and kind of shift and really just do the best you can. And like I said, just it's good enough, right?
Yeah.
It's not great. If you're ever in our Thursday night lives, there's almost always like a problem right in the first 5 minutes. Just something from the week or that day. But
You have a huge social media following across the board. Like you said, you do your lives. You do those like all the time, super regularly. What social channel did you launch on, and do you have a favorite?
So I basically just launched on Instagram. I was literally never thinking anything of it. I mean, I watched like YouTube at the time. I don't even know if I did at first.
No,
I think Chris
yeah.
told me that people on YouTube do reselling. You could like maybe learn something. So I started watching some people then. I'm very shy. I never ever thought like I would be doing YouTube. But yeah, like Chris mentioned, during the lockdown is when we were like, what else do we got to do? Let's start a YouTube channel.
Perfect.
So yeah, we started on Instagram, and then
I think you grew Instagram to 10,000.
yeah, before we
Grew.
started
Like, it's not like
YouTube.
she had the plan and anticipation of
Yeah.
growing. It was
Sure.
just like,
Yeah, it was weird. It's still weird to think about.
and then, yeah, after 10,000 followers on Instagram, I talked her, coaxed her into starting YouTube because
I was always showing him my hauls. Hey, see what I got, as if he even cares. He does not
I'm like,
care.
people do this on YouTube. I could be recording it and other people could see it. And so I'm a YouTube guy. I learn everything I need from YouTube, right? I have a question. I go, how do you do this? How do you tie a tie? So my natural thing is just to be like, you're showing me how to do this and other people can see that. I think my favorite platform is YouTube. And yours is probably Instagram.
Yeah, like Instagram, each day you're seeing what happened new that day. You can interact with people on the spot.
Yeah. So tell us about your live shows. How did that come about, and how did that get started?
It's been over a year now.
Just about it.
Just over a year that we started doing a weekly live show every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Mountain Time. And really just came out of like I've always felt behind on like our channel. Like it's always overwhelming how many people tune in, watch, comment, or have questions. And so I feel like I don't ever get to answer everything, right? And so it just was a way for me to be like, okay, let's just get in the grid of it. Let's get in with everybody. Anybody can ask any questions that they have. Sometimes Kathy will work. She'll use List Perfectly live to show other people how we do stuff. And then if anytime there's a question that we can answer. And it's grown even more to others. There's a lot of knowledge that comes to our shows. And so often we'll get behind in the questions, and those questions will already be answered by other viewers.
For me, it's just fun to chat. Like,
yeah, it's good.
It's kind of boring reselling all alone all the time
Yeah.
by yourself.
So it checked a lot of boxes for us, just to be able to talk with other people when we're here working for ourselves. We don't get out. I used to work at a school district. I got to work with a lot of people. And so, yeah, that's a part that's missing now. And so being involved in the community has really, I think the live show really helped that too.
Which marketplaces do you sell on, and where do you sell the most?
Because of List Perfectly, honestly, before List Perfectly, I was doing like Kitizen, honestly, was like my main platform, and now it's like my least main platform. I do eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Kitizen. I was doing Facebook Marketplace for a while, but I don't like the lack of customer service there, so I quit that last year. Right now, I'm doing the most on eBay, and Poshmark is a very close second. Yeah, I definitely could not cross-post to all those platforms without List Perfectly, though.
So I did also notice you on the List Perfectly at listing party. I saw you in the directory. So how did you discover List Perfectly?
Honestly, it was actually
Through the community, I think.
Her name is Savannah. She goes by Street Savvy. She used to do YouTube, but now she mainly just does like Instagram, I think. So she was using it for a while, and I was like, oh, that's something I've been wishing for, wanting, and then I started trying it. This was way before.
This was when you had to
YouTube
sign
or
up on a
anything.
waiting list to get in.
Like right in the beta program.
Yeah. Since I think as early as we could be, I
Yeah.
think we were probably one of the first few waves that got on the list.
I've never looked back. It's been amazing for all those years.
So do you have a favorite feature or favorite features of List Perfectly?
Obviously, bulk cross posting is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Just the ease of adding measurements and stuff, because measurements is kind of annoying thing to do in general. So just like having templates and being able to just plug in the numbers really fast. Yeah.
I think the thing I like is no matter where you are as a reseller, if you're just starting out or if people's got 15,000 listings that I think List Perfectly can really fit anybody in any stage of their reselling and however they resell for themselves. You can use every feature, or you could use one feature, and it's going to help you out. I don't really do a lot of listings, so Kathy does a lot of listing, but I try to pick up off of her and try to express that to viewers.
And I'm not good at technology, so List Perfectly, anytime there's like an update, I'm like, what do I do? So he does all of that.
I go to YouTube, right?
So we're a good team that way.
Yeah. I think for me, because of that, is probably my favorite is the fact that I can go on the Facebook group or anywhere that you guys are, and if there's an issue that we're having, it's probably already being talked about or already like in the works of being fixed. And I found that we have not really had to contact customer service very much, just because the stuff I can just tell it's already in the works.
You're working on it or it's already been fixed before we even knew it was a problem.
I guess, customer service, even though I've never really had to deal with it.
Yeah, I actually was on my first onboarding call the other day, and I thought it was just amazing how helpful, and you could just log in and book a call, and it's available for you. And Pat or anyone from the team at LP will walk you through it. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know it was there. So that's there if you guys ever need it.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. But as far as someone that's like never sold before, do you have any advice for them just getting started?
With reselling, I think the advice that I see a lot of people need is just get started, right? I feel like a lot of people get hung up on, okay, I gotta know how to do this. Yeah, I have to know how to ship. I have to know how to. What if I do a typo wrong on my listing? Or there's a lot of grace in reselling, right? And that's how you learn. You make the mistakes. For me, that's the biggest way I learn.
And that's how you learn how to do it. Like, I didn't know how to do shipping. Like, I didn't do eBay before List Perfectly because I was like, there's too many things to fill out and all this. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then, I took a hit on shipping a couple times, but then I figured it out.
Yeah.
And now so
that $10 extra that you paid on shipping is going to be more valuable than hours and hours of not doing it, right?
I always say that's a cheap price to pay for education when you make mistakes like that.
I would say it is important to have a good inventory system, knowing how to find your stuff. Your business is not going to fail if you can't find an item, right? But if you can help prevent those kinds of little hiccups by just doing a little bit of work, making sure you know where your stuff is, there's lots of different ways.
Our boxes aren't here anymore, but if anyone's ever watched our channel, like our whole wall here was full of banger boxes, which are now just at a storage unit because we're fixing everything in here. Before that, Chris built all the inventory. I was just putting stuff in bins, not even labeling the bins. I was just going by my memory. And so you can imagine every day when I'd make a sale or two, I would be spending 20, 30 minutes to find one single item because I didn't remember like I thought I would where it was. 20 to 30 minutes sucked away every single day is a lot. And now I can ship 20 items in that same time. So having the inventory, but then just like thinking about growing into it, like I just did a bin and then I was like, oh, now I need another bin. And then it turned out to be a lot of bins. And then I wasn't thinking about growing at the time. I was just like, oh, I'm selling 10 items. So
don't trust your memory.
Unless you're Kevin, common worker. That guy knows where everything's at.
I've never had a ton of volume. I'm lucky if I have 100 things up, but I have some clear plastic bins and probably 5 or 6 of them. I always used to rely on my memory, like you were saying. And then sometimes you're like, I can't find that. Did I sell that? And now they're labeled much more organized, but especially early on, even before List Perfectly, I'd be like, I sold that? I was sure I saw that in one of these bins the other day.
There's plenty to go around, at least for thrifting and reselling. I know some people don't thrift necessarily. They might do pallets or whatever, but I'm always like, oh, I got to get there because what if they run out of the thing that I'm trying to buy to resell? But there's always going to be more like
that scarcity mindset. I've been to
the same Goodwill like every day this week, and every day I've found at least 5 pairs of shoes. Don't necessarily have a scarcity mindset. There's plenty to go around. I feel like a lot of people try to keep secrets of good brands and things like that because it's going to go away or something, but I don't think that's true. Sell what you like, because like I love selling shoes, so whether or not I'm making $10, $20 profit on an item, I'd rather do that than sell, say, I don't know, something electronics that I could sell for a $300 profit for one item. I'd rather just not, because I don't like it, I don't know about it. So whatever your thing is, whatever you're interested in, you'll be more likely to do it if you're interested.
I'm not quite a reseller just yet. I'm more of a social media guy.
Doesn't actually resell,
But obviously, I'm in the community. I know enough to know.
You've watched 700 What's Up videos of my own.
Like I was saying before, just there's a lot of grace, right? I'm a perfectionist at heart, right? If something minor goes wrong, I often let it get me. And it doesn't need to be that way with reselling. If you have to cancel an order on eBay, you're going to survive, right? It's going to hurt a little bit, but it's not the worst thing in the world. And there's recovery. There's time, like bad feedback, right? If you get a bad feedback, it's going to go away. You just got to keep moving, right? Keep doing better, learning from your mistakes.
So basically you're saying don't overthink it.
Yeah. I'm overthinking it by trying to say.
Don't overthink it.
Don't overthink overthinking it.
I tend to do that too. I overthink way too many things. But it would be interesting. Doug likes to put this out there. So if you could have 3 adjectives that you could use to describe Ginger Marvin for each of you, would you have 3 different adjectives for each of you?
I don't know. I think that'd be pretty similar. The first one that comes to my mind is just like consistency. Like we know that there is value in being consistent. That's why Kathy has her listing goals. If she can do this amount of listings a day,
Yeah.
that
like, I
kind of
feel like-
consistency over
yeah.
time.
I feel like I've been on autopilot with reselling for years. And if I list 15 items a day, I'm going to sell 100 items a week. Like it's just been that way. And
Good.
and I just feel like that's from the consistency, not necessarily even the items or things that I'm selling, just the action of doing it over and not having huge breaks in between.
Yeah, which is something that pours over into every aspect of your life, right? Kathy's been very consistent with going to the gym, right? The past 6 months, and it's showing. I have not been consistently going to the gym, and it shows, right? But the consistency with YouTube, right? Like, I don't think we have any magic information that has made us grow to what we are. So I think it's just been the consistency of always showing up, trying to show up for every live that we can. We've been failing in the consistency of our lives lately, and videos. We haven't put a video up in a week.
It's probably the longest
It's
in
the
the
longest
whole time, huh?
probably in a while, but we've been renovating this room we're in right now.
Can't
Which
really
is
tell,
okay.
but
the headquarters of our whole operation for both of us.
everything's a little out of sorts, but just making it through. We're still
right.
consistently listing every day.
Easy
Just like-
going.
just like
good.
chill. We're just
Go with the flow.
doing the best we can type of thing. I think people like say that about us even.
Yeah.
That we just seem like we're just being ourselves, which is what we're trying to be.
That's right. Authentic.
There's the
good
third one, right?
I feel like that's a better way to say probably what we're trying to say.
Yeah, I think being able to not take things so serious. It is just reselling. I do think reselling is something that anyone and everyone can do. You don't have to be a rocket scientist or anything like that. What about a third one? Persistent, consistent, persistent.
Is that the same thing?
I think it's a little different because persistency is more like being consistent when kind of things are more against you, right? We're pretty persistent.
It's us.
Yeah, that's Ginger Marvin.
So anything to add before we close?
Thanks for having us on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
podcast.
Doug, it was great to have lunch with you. Dana, I know we met, but we didn't really get to talk much when we were up there. But that's one thing I really do like about List Perfectly is we went to FlipCon this last year. You guys helped sponsor the show, and just the fact that List Perfectly is able to get out and be with the community. It's you're more than just a service, right? You guys are part of the community.
I'm thinking of even Clara, like every event I've been to, she's just a social butterfly talking to everybody, like a CEO of a company, like actually just talking to everybody, which is amazing. Always willing to answer questions. She always personally tells me, Ginger, please let me know if you need anything at all. You can message me directly, things like that. I love that.
I think it sums it up. It's when you're reselling and you're working for yourself, if you're doing it full time, especially some people do this part time and have outside jobs, but for us, we felt disconnected, and just to be able to have another outlet, it makes a lot of difference.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you guys are a great part of the seller community too.
I hope to see you at another eBay meetup very soon.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah. Our socials are just Ginger Marvin, which is pretty much just Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah.
But if we ever start TikTok, it'll be Ginger Marvin too. So.
We'll include the links. We appreciate you joining us today, Ginger Marvin, Kathy, and Chris.
So much.